some new head torches. It's slightly different. I think they've got a bigger battery in them. Bought 16 of them. Christmas presents for everybody. -2 apparently. Come on. It always starts. Alright, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning. We are gonna go to work in a minute after I've picked up Shay, gone to the garage, got some coffee, and I can't remember exactly where we're working today. I'm sure I've got the address written down somewhere, but I need to go to Wicks first and get some materials anyway, so I'll address that problem then. Pretty sure it's over Reading Way somewhere. So yeah, let's sort our morning ritual out and I'll see you at the job. So here we are back at this property. We was here a couple of weeks ago plastering this living room, and they've got to put in the mist coat on the walls. So there we go. So yeah, we are back here, but today we are tackling this. Hall, stairs and landing. So we're gonna have to pop all these sockets off. I believe this is all sand and cement. Look, no beads on here, which is always quite remarkable because I always think about how tricky they probably would have cast a piece of batten wood up there to make these corners up. But obviously there's no protection on there, so I think last time we managed to get some staples in there, but if you're trying to put beads up with nails, etc., because these corners are so brittle and I believe it's sand and cement, it's quite easy to chip them off and not be able to get a very good fixing. Oh yeah, we're not touching we're not doing the ceilings in here. They're happy with the ceilings as they are. So yeah, I mean, it's not too bad, to be honest with you. It's just a bit untidy. Matey here has tried filling it and he's seen what a long and arduous task it is to try and fill all this, so he's got us in just to replaster it and have a fresh, brand new hall, stairs and landing. Now, one thing to note when you're doing something like this, if you're plastering the whole house, then what I tend to do is you're plastering the different rooms. You will kind of like come out here and pick little bits off as you're doing stuff elsewhere, because to actually just do the whole stairs and landing in its entirety, the logistics of it is really, really tricky, because you know, you've got hardly anywhere to move or put any materials. You need ladders up places and etc, etc. It's really tricky just to do it by itself, so it's quite time consuming, especially when all the architraves are on. Now, these are all live edges. The skirting boards are still on, and I've got this sliding door to contend with, so I guess we'll have to get down there a little bit. I'm not sure what they're doing with that, if that's being changed or painted or etc. I've got this thing that runs in, so yeah, this is what we're doing. Unfortunately, like I say, we're not touching the ceilings, which makes things quite a bit easier for us. Right, so I think the best thing to do is get this dust sheet taped up to these string runners all the way down there to try and get this to hold still, because I thought he was going to plastic it, but he's got this dust sheet, but obviously continuing to keep coming up and down the stairs, this is going to shift about, so we really kind of like, by taping it down to the sides to stop people running into the new carpet, he's put new carpet down, and hopefully that will hold it still. Oh, the skirting disappears here, and we might as well just pop the rest of that one off, because he's going to have to put, oh no, that skirting's not there because the sliding door comes to it. Happy why that's not there. Although it does look like there's space there to get it. Look, the sliding door just hangs there. It's not even a bottom runner on it. It just hangs off the top. He could put skirting on there. Just goes in right behind that architrave. Yeah. It's quite a unique one, but look, all this sort of stuff here is quite difficult to get to. Hold on, sorry, I should be on. So here we are in the job. This is the living room we plastered a couple of weeks back. The guys here have got round to giving it its sort of like first white wash coat, so still a bit wishy-washy. But we are here today to tackle this area, the hall, stairs and landing. So as you can see, these sort of things when you're doing a hall, stairs and landing in its entirety can be quite tricky with the logistics of everything. And now normally if you're doing a whole house, as you're doing like the bedrooms upstairs, you'll probably do well to come out and nip off a little bit of the hall, stairs and landing as you go. So, you know, as you're plastering the ceiling in here, you might pick off the ceiling out here, and, you know, and hopefully by the time you've got all the rooms done up here, the hall upstairs is pretty much done, and downstairs the same. So you don't have to do the whole thing all at the same time, because when you do a hall, stairs and landing all at the same time, you're very limited on space to put tools, etc. And you need things like ladders to get up there, so you can only really do like one wall at a time, because you can't, once you've got a ladder, you can't get up and down the stairs, and you know, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, you have to price it accordingly. There's no meterage in these at all, but they can be very tricky and time consuming, especially when you've got things like the architrave is on, so we need to keep all these lines nice and neat. The skirting is on, so look, you know, when you've got these sort of little areas, you can only get in there with certain size trowels. This here is a sliding door. I'm not sure what's happening with that exactly. Just have to do the best we can with that. So yeah, that's what we got. So fortunately we've got no ceilings to do in here, so that makes our life a little bit easier. But you notice on here, look, we've got this is sand and cement walls, and there's no beads on here, so they did this without beads. I'm assuming they would have done it the old way, where they would have to cast bits of wood up there, but considering there's no bead on there, they're pretty good corners, and the house is quite old, but we're going to put beads on there obviously. So yeah, we are going to crack on with this. Oh, we've also got a little bit in here to do. We've got a ceiling to patch up, but we'll get round to that. Okay, right, let's get on with stuff. First thing we need to do, because these walls are a bit dry and everything, I think is to get some PVA everywhere. Here we go, look, this is a perfect example why these hall, stairs and lands are so tricky. Got to get above this head here, and then look how it runs. We're going to have to get a bead through here. Look at that, and we've got to find the tool, ideally, that's going to fit in that little recess there behind the architrave. So yeah, it's very fiddly, time consuming, and you need to price it likewise. Oh, there's no meterage in them at all. So yeah, right, let's get on. Oh, there's a wire there. What's that feeding? Probably looks like an outside light, yeah. I think we might do them a favour. We might be able to get that. There might be a concrete lintel up there, we're not sure. Might see if I can chisel that into the wall for him, just make that disappear. Just looking for the lights in this kitchen here. This couple have only just moved in, and they're in the process of doing it all right up. Let's go to, that's it, number 5. So yeah, look, we've got the old polystyrene tiles on this ceiling, done quite stylishly, with a different sort of one in the middle. And I was just thinking to myself, because I found the light for this side, well, where is the light for this side? There is a light, there must be a switch for it. I looked around the doors, all the usual places it might be, because no light switch. Oh, what's that there? Look, okay. Oh, there you go. Yeah, well, just above the extractor fan there, right in the middle of the room. I noticed as well they've got the boiler upstairs. It's been changed and repositioned into one of the bedrooms. I noticed that the one we're going to be working in, and I do believe that is a gas pipe. It's running from the meter there, going up. Must be running upstairs into the back bedroom. So one issue we got going on here is they've already put a brand new carpet down before decorating here, and I was expecting to have got the adhesive plastic that goes over carpet, but he's bought this stair runner instead. Now the issue with this is, as we're going up and down the stairs, these tend to have a tendency to move about with all the traffic and everything going on top of it. I haven't got my keys. So what I think we are going to do is, because this can be repaired here, and it's all chipped anyway, I've got some staples. I might staple these walls up here into this sort of like string runner, and get some tape on there in an effort to try and hold that still. See how well that holds up. Okay, you're catching us now, look, breaking the rules. You can never really plaster over wood. This is like a hardboard. Looks like it's been wallpapered over. I believe the whole area was wallpapered and then removed that. So yeah, you can't plaster over this, but we are going to. We are cheating again. So what we're going to do is we've got this extra wide scrim. We're going to get this over there. We're going to whack some staples in it, and then we're going to put the PVA over the top and physically bond that scrim to the wood. I mean, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? It looks horrendous as it is at the moment. So if it fails, then it's a new piece of wood. Otherwise, you know, what's he going to do with it? He's going to have to fill it. We're going to have a go and get it over there. And to be honest with you, I think it'll probably be all right.
And it's a perfect size for a 16.
Well,
be a shame not to plaster that.
It would be, wouldn't it? So yeah, we're going to plaster over that. So there we go. Look, I've taped all the edges to try and stop PVA getting in there, and we stapled it, and hopefully with the tape and the staples it will be enough to hold this dust sheet steady for the duration of the job up these stairs. If it doesn't, I will let you know. So yeah, we've used this stuff. If you are interested in the history of this stuff, what I've been led to believe is this is actually now called gaffer tape. That is the correct terminology to describe this product. I think it was invented around the time of the Second World War by, I'm guessing, an American, and the American troops nicknamed it duck tape, as in the water bird, the duck, because of its properties, and you know, water would run off of it like a duck's back. Then the name changed into duct tape, as in like air ducting or whatever, because of its waterproof properties and airtight properties. And for some reason now it's called gaffer tape. So if you don't believe me, look it up. I might look it up again later. But yeah, it was in a quiz the other day. I called it duct tape or duct, and no, apparently I was incorrect. It should be called gaffer. Look at that edge, it's quite nasty, isn't it? There's a skirting board. That's where it comes down, and look, it's just been cut back. It's a little detail like that. Look, it cuts all the way back in. I'll show you what we'll do with that later. Careful not to bend that little edge. My calculations are correct. It's snagging on the. There we go. I've just got to trim that at a bit more of an angle. Look, it's catching on the string. Where's the snips gone? Come on in. There we go, look, that's much better. This is a nice straight line all the way down. Just got to do the same for the other side. Perfect, we might be able to get some staples in there. So there we go, that's the other side. Indeed. It's going to be a lot neater than trying to cut that out by hand. And like I say, I quite enjoy sticking the beads up with scrim, especially in situations like this. You'll be surprised how sturdy that holds it. And obviously do this before you put your bonding agent on, PVA or SBR, whatever it is you like to use, and of course that will help the scrim really stick and hold that absolutely rock solid. Now, this is one of the reasons I don't ever touch radiators. I always get the customers to do it. It's not my responsibility. This is just... It's starting up all by itself. Obviously, it's got... I think there's a little sort of thermostat in there. So what happens is when the temperature drops, I think it opens up to stop things from freezing, possibly. So you need to be careful when you take radiators off. It should have a little clip on there, or another trick was to put a coin down the top to keep the pin down or something. The little pin pops up and just lets a little bit of water through. So yeah, just notice that's happening, but don't do it with me. We've just keep that tray there and hopefully it will stop happening. Okay, so that leak wasn't stopping. But what I noticed, there was it was on the setting where it has the little snowflake, and there was nothing beyond that. And I also noticed that this one has got the valve on it, but you see, look, it's got that setting on it, which I'm assuming means shut it right off rather than the snowflake. So the other one didn't have that extra setting. This seems to go to 11, not just 10, and Spinal Tap famously said. So it's got that extra setting. So this one did not have that, and that's probably why this one was leaking as much as it is. So yeah, if you don't know, there's a little pin in there. So as you twist this round, it compresses the pin and shuts it off. So what I did, I just twisted it just as hard as I could, without obviously breaking it. And it managed to stop, but as soon as I let go, it was releasing a little bit and more water was going off. So I twisted it, closed it right up, and just got some gaffer tape around it, and it seems to have remedied the problem for now. At least until the customer gets home. Quite handy, these steps. It's quite expensive, they're really heavy and solid. I forget who made them. I did a hop-up review a while ago actually, and I did speak about them in that. But yeah, obviously like there's two sides slide up independently of each other, so you can get them to sit on stairs without having to lean them up against anything. Sometimes they don't work because the measurements of the stairs aren't very good, but in this case it seems to be working pretty well. Managed to get that little wire, unsightly wire, behind the plaster line. Just used a tiny little chisel and a hammer to get that back, and it's going to look a lot better. And to be honest with you, it's going to make our life a lot easier because we can make a nice job of that rather than trying to get a small tool around it and whatever. You know, it's worth doing. It makes things easier. Ah, yes. As always, I like to take up the back of the boxes where the terminals are to try to reduce the chance of getting any water down there. What I normally do is just roll them over and cover the little holes, because that holds the little screws in as well, stops them from getting lost. So this started leaking again despite my taping up efforts with the duct tape. And I thought, oh, I tried to tighten it up again, and then I realised right underneath my nose the whole time, 2 isolation valves up there. So I've just turned the little screw in there and set them to off. So that has remedied the situation for good. A socket. Don't ask me why. I just work here. So as far as plastering's gone, this is what we've managed to get done today. After doing all the prep of PVA and stuff up, putting beads up, getting materials this morning, etc, etc. So Shay tackled this little area up here with half a bag of plaster. Stayed very neat. When the woodwork's quite rough and stuff like this, sometimes if you tape up, it can be a little bit dodgy. If it's going to be painted anyway, quite often I'll just keep brushing it in and clean it up at the end. I find you get a much neater line, even if some of the plaster is catching into some of the undulations of the paintwork. That's all got to be sanded down, so yeah, it's done alright. Down here, I tackled this little area. I threw it all on at the same time, again being about half a bag. Now, to be honest with you, I thought after doing all the prep and everything, we'll just throw this little half a bag on, just take a load of this awkward stuff out, and we'll just cruise through and see the day out. But do you know what? I almost lost it in there. I struggled. I had to take a sponge to it. We 2-coated it, and I had to take the sponge to it, and I even had to put a 3rd coat, a tight one, knock up a tiny bit to pull this one back a little bit because it'd gone a little bit too far. Reason being, I only gave it a light PVA because I wanted to use the suction to send it off, but yeah, overcooked it slightly in there, and I really was under quite a bit of pressure to get that under control. So, you know, sometimes, even if it's just a small amount like that, because it's so awkward and we throw it on at the same time, it's surprising how time consuming that can be and how you can find yourself in trouble. But we persevered and got it sorted, and it looks alright, so no worries there. Right, we've had enough today. We're going to go home. It's a little bit early, but you know, it's one of those, isn't it? We'll see you tomorrow, and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Hi guys, it's day 2 in that wall stairs and landing. We've been treated to some plus temperatures. It's plus 2 degrees this morning, so not as cold as yesterday, and I think it's not going to freeze again for the next few days. What's the day today? Friday. We're going to be working there Saturday as well. Already pumped the tyre up, so I'm just waiting for Shay, and I'll see you at the job in a minute. Okay, so we are back in the job today, and we've got that ladder which goes up and down the stairs, and it can sit there by itself and not have to lean on anything. But obviously having the ladder there makes it very hard to get up and down the stairs and past buckets of material all up and down. It's in the way. So we wouldn't mind getting the first hit done and doing the awkward stuff, everything we can on that ladder, everything that the ladder's needed for, and then for the second half of the day we can get rid of that ladder and just get it out the front and be done with it. So we are looking to get this and this all on in one hit. We did give it a good PVA yesterday, but when we did all the small bits and pieces up here, you can see they're drying out. The heating's on now in here, and the walls were quite sucky. So I think it'll probably be a good idea to give these walls another good PVA, to pull them back and let them hold back a little bit more. I think we'll do well to have a little bit more time to get this all under control, rather than be pushed for time because it's going off with the heat and the suction from this old dry plaster. Fourth day using this new trowel. Okay, so we've knocked up and got all this top section on. As you can see, that was pretty much one bag that got all over that. Although the wall was quite wobbly, you see there wasn't much texture on it, so the plaster went quite a long way because we was able to get it on quite tight. Now it's quite important because I say I'm always going on about it. 20 by 5 carbon steel trowel by Marshalltown, which is not really very curved. It's only the very ends that kick up. The majority of the trowel from about here to about here is straight, and it's just the ends that kick up a bit like a skateboard. Now that allows me to get things very flat, and it's very beneficial for something like this as well because it gives you so much extra reach. Where I'm on the step down there, I can reach, you know, so much higher with the end of the trowel. So yeah, with walls like this, as you can see, the light comes through, and it's quite a large expanse of wall, and it's also, you get the opportunity to cast your eye all the way down it. So if there's any ripples in this whatsoever, they're really going to show up, especially if they paint it with a sheen sort of paint as well. If it's a matte emulsion, it will mute it down a little bit. If they put a silk on there or something like that with a bit of sheen to it, it will show up everything. So that's just been put on and had one flattened, and I'm quite happy that this is looking pretty flat straight from the outset using that trowel. I mean, you can use the rules, the flexible rules you can get now. Also, we knocked it up in 2 bits because we want to give ourselves as much time. We don't want to be hard pushed with the ladder being put up, put down, put up. You know, there's a lot of logistic stuff to deal with here. And also I noticed when we PVA'd up again this morning, this top section had a different sort of paint on it, and the PVA was hanging around, whereas the bottom section didn't. It pulled right in again. So we've knocked up a fresh gauge just to finish off the bottom down there, and hopefully it should all sort of like go off at the same sort of time. So there we go, we're almost all on. Okay, so just setting the ladder back up again. I think it needs to be one step forward, doesn't it, Shay? Continuously up and down, both sides, all the whole thing. A little bit precarious because obviously you can't touch the walls, it's so narrow in there. You know, if we just did that and that, then you can lean on this wall and get that on the next one, but we just want to get this all out of the way, all in one go. Now it's again, we flattened in again, really scrutinised on the flatness on these walls because of the light source coming in through the bottom, showing up the ripples. Right, we've knocked up a little bit thinner this time. Put a second coat on, up the top, and then we'll probably knock up again for this little bit down there, because remember we did it in 2 sections, this going off and then that's going off a little bit behind. Okay, ladder's going back up. All we've done is lay this down with a nice tight coat. Need to turn straight back round and flatten in. And remember, I know I like flattening and stuff, I like these smaller brushes. from Wicks. They taper out at the edge. They're really good to use as a tool for straightening up your internals and stuff. What's up?
Please.
Okay, I forgot to show this before I started plastering it, but there used to be a wall here. I believe this used to be a cupboard here, and that is why the boiler is there inside this bedroom. I imagine it's going to be boxed in, but there was quite a bad ridge where the old wall was. You can see these white lines are the really high points where it was kind of like triangling out, pimpling out on the ceiling and on the wall. You can see how undulated that wall is. I think maybe if I just zoom in a bit, because I'm down here, see the straightness, the line of the trowel has created that, and that's the bleed over where this wall is curling, because I'm using, again, the 20-inch trowel. So, as you can see, it's leaving quite a gap. There you can see it's leaving quite a gap because of the front of the trowel. But this is a great opportunity to use this trowel because we can use it as a rule, and I've only just put this on. Some areas are quite thick, so you can see there that there's a short line where it's pimpling out. If I come here or here, you can see the depth we're into here. Let's go the other way. That's the depth we're into, and literally nothing there, no depth at all. So this is where the 20-inch trowel works much like a derby or a rule, and use the straight length. It's not a curved trowel, it's straight. Use its benefits to straighten up the wall and feel how it goes and get it in by hand. Meanwhile, Shay is out here dealing with this little delight. Let's have a look, hold on. So I've got this little wall here. I'm sure I recorded it the other day with this sliding door mechanism and everything, so we've got to get right in behind there. And remember, all the carpets are brand new, so we need to keep it all clean. It's all taped down. Starting to brown off, just feathered in. I just took it to there and there, so it's less feathering in, and just used that existing corner there. Makes life a little bit easier. Obviously, get to feather in across the top, and we feathered in across there to cover up all that gnarly wall that has been removed. Give this a little bit of a sponge up and stuff. It was quite tricky because this is all really undulated as well. I mean, this area from about here, yeah, well, it was literally from there to there was a cupboard. So when it was originally plastered, I don't think they took too much care in it. All the corners are curling out and stuff, so, and it's very up and down all along here and this way as well, waving this way. So it was quite challenging to sort the internals out on there. Meanwhile, Shay was tackling this, and it's pretty much done. It just needs a little final with the Rafina Flex 2, which is what we've done with everything in here, and stuck with the carbon steels, and then just finished them off with the flexi trowels once we were happy everything was nice and flat and there was no ripples in it. So you can go to the Flexi then, and the Flexi gives you this kind of, this one went a little bit, it's a little bit overshined for my liking, but it's just because the way we're looking down it and the light's catching it. But you know, a lot of people like to see that, especially the customers and stuff. Yeah, if you overshine the wall, then you can have an issue with paint adhering, but this isn't going to be an issue. It's going to be fine. There we go, 2 days. I've just shown that up here, so it was all the walls drying out already, all this. And let's have a look downstairs. So yeah, it was all this area down here, all little things like this were really tricky. Getting round sockets, etc, etc. Tiny little reveals. All up here, yeah. So there we go. So yeah, Friday, yeah, we got it all done, which is well handy. Tomorrow I'm able to fit in another little job, it's just a garage ceiling, so I might record that, I might not, I'm not sure. But until then, and I'll see you on the next video, have a fantastic weekend and I will be seeing you soon. Alright, take care of yourselves. And each other. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot to mention, you know, trying to keep up with all the comments that keep coming up, especially when they're new ones, it gives me a notification that somebody's commented. But when they go on and reply, sometimes it's hard to keep up with those ones. So I did set up a little Facebook group so that if anybody wants to go on there, and I'll put a link to it on the actual channel, it's at the top there's links, one's buy me a coffee and then it says one more link, I don't know if it comes up on your, whatever you're looking at the channel with, but there's another link up there and that will give you the link to the Facebook group, and you can put whatever you want on there. It's a little bit more expressive, if you like, to be able to communicate rather than on the comments on YouTube. And if you want, you know, put your own videos up. It's a public group, you don't have to answer any questions or anything. So yeah, just have a little click on that link, and if you want to, join up and you can chat amongst yourselves there. Alternatively, I've just called it Plaster Master Smurf 74, search that up. And yeah, Bob's your uncle. So hopefully I'll see you there as well.